This stream is sponsored by Brilliant.
We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be normal.
RCP chamber pressure looks good. Doubling up. We're right away with Atlantis.
Water towers can fly! Yes!
Tango Delta nominal.
Flight downside SCE off.
Again, SCE off.
Yikes. You bet. Concur. We don't need any more of these.
All right, space fans, set your switches to aux. Set SCE to aux. We're doing this. It's another NASA Spaceflight live stream. I'm Jack Beyer, person talking now. I do stuff for NASA Spaceflight. I edit. I commentate on live streams, but mostly I get excited about rockets. And you are looking at an Atlas V sitting on the pad at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station or Kennedy Space Center? I should know this, but it's not just me on the stream. I am joined by our ever awesome team, starting off with Adrian Bile. What's up, Adrian?
It's going great over here in Europe. I'm glad to be on the stream today, and yeah, let's hope this goes perfectly today.
Fingers crossed. And also on the stream, we're gonna hear a little bit at least from Das. What's up, Das?
Hey, what's up, Jack? How's it going?
It's going. There's a rocket on the pad, so it's a good day.
I like it. It'll be better if there's a rocket not on the pad.
Yeah, first one, then the other, preferably. And of course, next up, we've got Julia Bergeron. What's up, Julia?
Why, hey there, Jack. I am on Loop Road at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, and I have a rocket in front of me, and I'm super excited to see it rumble and roar today.
Excellent. Yeah, we've got some solid motors on there, so it should be a real good one with like a nice contrail and some nice rumble for you there. Very exciting. Also out in the field, we've got Stephen Marr. Stephen, what's up? You on comms, or you I forget if you're supposed to be on comms or not. I know I could hear you earlier.
Yeah, I could chime in and say hey, but yeah, I'm not going to be on comms today, but I am happy to be here.
Excellent. Well, thanks for chiming in and saying hey. And of course, we've got Thomas Berghart out in the field as well. We've got the dream team today. What's up, Thomas?
How's it going, Jack? Good to be here, and yeah, looking forward to the OFT-2 launch day at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station.
Excellent. Yeah, this launch has been a long time coming. It's been like, what, 9 months since OFT-1, so let's get this spacecraft fully checked out and so it can fly humans, huh?
You bet.
All right, and y'all, if you're just tuning in to one of our streams for the first time, don't forget, I guess you wouldn't be able to forget because it's your first time, but we do an interactive kind of thing here. If you want to ask questions, if you want to know a little bit more detail about something we're talking about, or just something, relevant to what's going on today, you can at NASASpaceflight in chat, and it'll pop up in some software that Michael wrote. So, right. Michael. I almost forgot. Michael's in the background pushing the buttons and pulling the levers, running in a giant human-sized hamster wheel, other steampunk things, to make the stream work. So thanks, Michael, for doing what you do in the background.
And also, just to add to that, it was 9 months since the first time they tried OFT-2. It has actually been the OFT-1 was in December 2019. So
right,
it's a bit longer even.
So should this be like OFT-2, like subtext 2, like squared, or OFT-4, or I don't know, how are we doing this? 2.2?
OFT-2 block 2?
I love it.
Can we not?
You have to say Boogaloo in there somewhere.
Yeah, block 2 Boogaloo, perfect. Oh my god.
OFT-2.2 electric Boogaloo. Done.
I love it. So yeah, if you guys ask your questions, they will pop up in the software, and we will answer them right off the bat. We've got a new member. Thank you, Val Barthelio 13, for becoming a pad rat. We do have the membership program. It is an excellent way to support what we do, and thank you to all of our members. They get various perks at pad rat membership. I think you get some members only emoji, which I'm going to throw a couple starships into chat because I can do that because I'm a member. So thank you to Val for becoming a new member. Awesome support there. And we've also got Musical Wolves, as always. Musical Wolves chiming in saying, if Starliner is successful, does this mean that it will be able Wait, it was able line up Starship and Starlink. What? I'm not sure what Musical Wolves is getting at here.
Are we just completing the
oh,
trifecta of vehicles that start with star?
oh yeah, got it. I think that's what they're going for. Star everything, star all the things, star factory, star rocket, star everything. It's the future. I mean, hey.
Are they launching from the star pad?
Yeah, basically. I mean, hey, do you remember in the 2000s everything was I this, I that because Apple made the iPod and iPhone? So the wave of the future, as Howard Hughes said in The Aviator, wave of the future is going to be for sure star everything. Anyways, I digress. Let's see.
As expected.
Here's a serious question from Emmett that I really like. Emmett is asking, what's the tower in between the two towers on the right? So not the lightning towers, which, to answer everybody's question right off the bat, the 4 towers surrounding the rocket with what looks like cigarettes on top. Those are lightning towers. And what is the thing in the middle of the two? Is that like a comms tower? Who knows?
Ooh. I think I got the answer for you.
Yeah, please.
Are we looking at the one that says ULA by chance? Because that's a pretty unique tower. It's a vertical integration tower. But there's something
in between the right 2 lightning towers. It's like a third skinny tower with a flashing light on top of it.
Okay, fine. I had something cool to say about a vertical integration facility, but I got nothing on this one.
No, okay, well, tell us about the vertical integration facility. I'm interested now. You've piqued my interest.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you about that, and somebody else can answer the actual question. But the vertical integration facility we see in front of us can not only process Atlas, it can also process Vulcan. And to the best of our knowledge, it is the only processing area that can process 2 different launch vehicles.
That's pretty nifty. You know I'm excited for Vulcan. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, same.
Very cool. Yep. So I see some questions coming in. We will get them answered for sure. Does anybody want to give an overview of what we're expecting to see today? You know, like Adrian said, it's been 9 months since the first attempt of OFT-2. Why has it been 9 months?
Yeah, so the first time this mission was planned, they had some valve issues, which prevented a launch of this particular capsule. And so this time what we see right now is an Atlas V rocket with Starliner on top that hopefully will reach the International Space Station soon, and with that certify itself for crewed flight in the future, or like get closer to the certification for crewed flight. And yeah, the first time it actually lifted off, which was the OFT-1 mission, it also had some issues which prevented it from reaching the ISS. So yeah, basically 3rd time's the charm, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought a little bit of humidity would cause such a 9-month delay? But here we are. Let's see here. Musical Wolves again with a super chat. Thank you, Musical Wolves, for the support on like every single stream, multiple times a stream. You're awesome, Musical Wolves. They say, is this broomstick smaller than a Falcon 9 Crew Dragon? If so, is it because Atlas V doesn't get reused? I don't think the size of Atlas V is because it doesn't get reused. I'm not sure. Does anyone want to take a whack at this for Musical Wolves?
See, so the thing we can talk about regarding vehicle sizes, it is true that reusable vehicles are usually a little bit larger because they need to hold the extra propellant and performance to propulsively recover themselves, or even if it's not a propulsively landed vehicle, you need to have the excess performance to carry whatever your recovery hardware is, if it's like parachutes or something like that. So reusable vehicles do tend to be slightly larger because of that. However, talking about more specifically the Atlas V, Atlas V was just sized for a variety of different payloads, and Atlas V was designed for being able to cater to a bunch of different payloads by adding extra solid rocket boosters. So on this particular vehicle, there's 2 solid rocket boosters, and that goes with the performance requirements of deploying Starliner on its nominal insertion trajectory. Obviously, Atlas can fly with 0 solid rocket boosters or anywhere up to 5. Depending on the mass of the spacecraft on board. So if we're talking about physical size, that just kind of comes down to how strong the tanks need to be, what materials they choose to make the tanks out of, and then how much propellant can fit in those tanks. and Atlas V is sized for a big variety of payloads using those solid rocket booster configurations. And so I wouldn't say comparing Atlas V to Falcon 9 on the merit of size has anything to do with the reusability aspect. Really, it's just a matter of the different ways that they handle different payload masses, because Atlas V is way more configurable than a Falcon 9, which is kind of the same configuration no matter what you're flying on. Yeah, hopefully that answers the question.
That's definitely a way better answer than I could have given, so thank you for that. Let's see here. Bunker, the Husky, says, I wonder if Snoopy is about to go on another magical journey. Did they have like a Snoopy puppy on the last one or something? Or is this that's the NASA Snoopy program reference? What am I missing here?
I'm also interested in this.
Okay, well, let's see. Thank you for the support. Either way, Black Hawk New Zealand, thank you so much for becoming a launch director. That is one of the higher levels of support. Launch directors get their names at the end of weekly NASA Spaceflight Live episodes. And they also get all the other perks. They get the member videos and the exclusive photos, and they get, of course, Discord access.
Which is such a good perk.
Right, I spend way too much time in our member Discord. In fact, the other day I was playing KSP with Alejandro, and that was awesome because I managed to do a mission and I finished a contract I did not think I was going to be able to finish, but he helped me out, so that was awesome. But seriously, thank you, Blackhawk, and all of our members for the support. We also have Moldy Space. Oh, no, wait, sorry. We already... Moldy Space in a second. We also have Flawed Perspective coming in as a Capcom member. Discord access that we're talking about is at Capcom and above. So if you want to hang out in our member Discord, and I don't know, there's all kinds of channels. There's a gaming channel, there's a tech channel, there's channels for all the launch sites and all the launchers. Yeah, it's a hoot. So and of course there's party chat where things just are insane. So if you want to hang out in our Discord, be sure to hit up the membership program and Capcom and above. That would be super cool to see some more Capcom members on this stream. I will greet you in the Discord with my customary Forrest Gump wave gif.
That's what you can look forward to. Join the membership program and get in the Discord and Jack will wave at you.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's a tradition at this point.
Nice.
Jim Cavett, thank you for the support. Blackhawk NZ again with a super chat here. Thanks, Blackhawk, and Moldy Space. Thank you. We got to Moldy Space. I told you we would. Moldy Space with a Thomas fan club and a generous super chat there. Thank you, Moldy Space, as always.
Always appreciate it.
All right, let's do some viewer questions. How about? Who wants to do some viewer questions? Say me.
Me.
Why was it a question?
What a question mark!
Yeah, why was
it? Jeez.
I mean, it's kind of hard to commit to answering questions before you know the questions, right?
Oh man. Well, okay. I'll ask. How about who wants to answer some good questions? How about that? I'm just kidding. All questions are good because you're asking a question. Let's see. Mark is asking, is the launch window instantaneous or can we expect holds? How is this launch sequence going to work here? Look at that.
I think Tori Bruin tweeted that as well. It is an instantaneous launch window, right? So they only have this one shot and this one moment to launch.
Yes, it is an instantaneous window. However, that is not to say that there aren't holds, because how United Launch Alliance conducts their countdowns, there are built-in holds, and it all synchronizes to the instantaneous window. But it's funny you mention that because they're actually in a hold right now, and they've been in a hold for I think 3 hours already or something. They are actually holding right now at T-4 minutes, and I believe they are holding at T-4 minutes all the way until the L- clock would align with it. So when we talk about the differences between L- and T-, and this really only comes up with ULA launches, L- is how much time it takes until liftoff. T- is the clock, or the time that is on the clock, and those two things don't sync up until near the end of the countdown. But they're already in a hold right now because for an Atlas V Starliner launch, you have crew loading and all of these things. So fueling has already been completed. In fact, the vehicle has been fully loaded for a couple hours already, and it's just kind of topping off actively to make sure that the tanks stay full with boil off and things like that. But the countdown is kind of done already, and we're just waiting for all of this time, which would be crew preparations, communications checks, all those things with the crew on board. Obviously, this is an uncrewed test flight, so it's a little bit easier. But yeah, so that is what they are doing right now. And when they get to the 4-minute mark, you will enter that same final 4 minutes of the countdown that you do for any Atlas V launch There'll be that final go no go poll. There'll be the final status check at T-minus 25 seconds, and we'll have our kind of standard Atlas liftoff from that point. But instantaneous window today, so if anything should cause a delay beyond the planned hold that ends at T-minus 4 minutes, then there would be a scrub for the day and go to a backup opportunity tomorrow.
I have I have a special love for go no go polls. I get that SpaceX, for example, does them like electronically, but I love how they go to every station and call a go. I think it's so cool to hear, and I love it with every ULA launch.
It's like if you've ever seen any space movie as a kid growing up, you know what a go no go poll is. And yeah, the fact that it's a real thing that we get to sort of enjoy as part of the launch process. And it's like a confidence thing too, right? Like you're hearing from every person that is responsible for all the important things that are going to happen in order to get this rocket and these people, or this capsule in this case, into space. And everybody is expressing their confidence in a forceful and confident way ahead of a critical decision. I mean, that's what I would want if I was riding on top of a rocket. I would want to hear a chorus of people saying, yes, go, you're good to go. But of course, we don't have that on airplanes, really. I guess that would be kind of weird. So hopefully we get rockets more airplane-like in that respect. But yes, go no go polls, good. Sorry, go ahead.
Imagine your pilot being like kinda on a maybe side before liftoff, like pilot. I don't know, go, I guess. And you'll sit there like,
I don't like that. I don't like that. Let's see. Let's do some more questions because y'all are asking some good ones. Nicholas is asking, will Starliner eventually fly on Vulcan? What's the plan there? Because there's only so many Atlases left, right?
Yeah, I will take this question. All of the Atlas 5s have been sold to various customers, and so that is no longer available for sale. So any future Starliner launches beyond the initial commercial crew contract would have to be launched on something other than an Atlas 5. And to date, both Boeing and ULA, both of them have said that they are not working on crew rating Vulcan for Starliner. So, as the indications are that Starliner will not fly on Vulcan as of current plans. Does that mean that Starliner will not fly on anything? No, Starliner could fly on something else. Does that mean that Vulcan could fly something other than Starliner? Also possible. But the official plans are that human rating Vulcan for Starliner is not planned. It's not planned to be done, and neither parties have kind of elaborated as to what their other human spaceflight plans may be at this point. So we'll leave it at that.
Got it. All right.
But I should say the current contract for Atlas 5 includes a crewed flight test and then 6 operational Starliner missions to the ISS. So far, there are 7 flights beyond the OFT-2 flight today with Starliner on Atlas.
Excellent. And T-Bone with a follow-up question. How many Atlas 5s are left, given that RD-180s will not be forthcoming?
Right. So all the RD-180 engines required for the rest of the Atlas manifest are already here in the United States. ULA already has them. I do not remember the exact number of how many are left, but whatever that number is, it is set in stone because, like I said, they're not selling anymore. And all of the Russian engines required to support those missions are already here at ULA.
According to a quick Google search, it's 24, by the way.
Oh, that's more than I would have expected.
But I will not. I just Googled that, and I think the number is 24 based on that.
I do know that Tori has been asked too, would there be one left over to put on display? And his answer to that was no, that they most certainly were all mission-defined Atlases.
No, that's
He
a
was
shame.
keeping one for his office.
That's a big office.
Yeah.
Even better, how about for the horse ranch?
There you go.
And
Also, quick sidebar, because I feel obligated to mention we've had our first KSC security sighting of the day. Although we're also on the Space Force side, and also just disappeared and ran away. So they're in stealth mode today, but they're here.
All right, what was it? An alligator or what?
It was indeed a gator.
Oh, Florida. So many things that want to kill you.
And he pointed. It was like right in front of me, like when I was taking pictures of guys. Wonderful.
Only caught part of that. Something about pointing a finger and it being wonderful.
Oh, no, he pointed to me where said gator was, and it was basically right in front of me when I was taking pictures.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
It was
It-
like it was keeping you safe. It was protecting you from the other larger, meaner gators.
Like, there's no really dangerous animals here, and it's so weird to me how calm you're all about this.
It's
Like,
fine.
I'm sitting here and you're like, yeah, there's an alligator close to us.
Oh, well, last night I was camping, and guess what? A bear got into the cooler and visited us at the campsite, and I was tent camping. So we're just having wonderful adventures in Florida today.
Lovely. That's a yikes for me. No bears, please.
Yeah.
Okay. While we're on the subject of Atlas questions, here's one from Vanguard Space. Why are some Atlas 5s gray and others are orange? That's like an oxidation thing, right?
Yeah, it's kind of actually very similar to the SLS and shuttle external tank foam material, where if it sits out in the sun a little bit longer, it will tan. The same thing kind of happens to the metals that they use on Atlas V boosters. And by a booster, I mean like the Common Core booster, which is actually the first stage of Atlas V. That metal does taint a bit if it sits out in the sun for longer. So rockets that have rolled out for like a wet dress rehearsal and then come back to the VIF for final integration and things like that, sometimes you'll see those rockets have a little more tint than ones like this one, where there was not a wet dress rehearsal ahead of Starliner missions. Those are usually done for national security missions, but not for Starliner missions. So that can account for some difference in color there.
Got it. And thank you for mentioning the shuttle, so we have that out of the way, and none of us
Yeah,
get
we can check
fired.
that off. We're good.
Yep.
Yeah, contract fulfilled.
But I said you guys were asking some good questions. A lot of good Atlas questions there. Here's one that is interesting to me because we always talk about different abort modes and, Starship not having an abort mode and all that kind of stuff. Taylor is asking, what's the abort system on Starliner? How does that work?
Yeah, so Starliner, just like Crew Dragon, was required by the Commercial Crew Program to have no black zones. And by a black zone, we mean a period during the ascent where you cannot abort. The space shuttle had a couple black zones, mostly during the first phase of flight where the solid rocket boosters were firing. The shuttle was not able to do any abort mode during that time. You would basically wait until the boosters separated and then perform a return to launch site abort. But for Starliner, for Crew Dragon, and also for Orion on SLS, all of those vehicles are capable of aborting at any point during the ascent. For Starliner, the service module of the Starliner spacecraft has 4 abort engines. We saw these tested during a pad abort test a couple years ago. And those thrusters or those engines run on the same propellant as its reaction control system, just the smaller thrusters used for docking and things like that. They are not the engines used for orbital insertion, so we can probably talk about later how Starliner will technically be inserted into a suborbital trajectory and do a very small orbital insertion burn using its small RCS thrusters. It does not use the abort engines. The abort engines are way overkill for that maneuver. But it does have 4 abort motors that it can use at any point during ascent, whether the solids are lighting or not. They're powerful enough to escape even if the solids are firing. Starliner can abort at several phases along its ascent, all of them, in fact.
I love the idea of using your abort motors to finish your orbital insertion. That's very Kerbal. I have a question, just I'm going to say it out loud. I don't know if any of us knows the answer. What is the 4102 with the wacky O that we're seeing in this shot? What does that denote? Is it like a camera number or something? Who knows? I don't.
Yeah, that's probably just an ID for that camera.
Makes sense.
Weirdly high definition way to put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Nick Nut is asking what happened to the original Starliner flight to cause it to not reach the space station. So we should probably talk about this at some point during the stream. So let's talk about it now. That was the whole mission elapsed timer thing, right? Who wants to talk about that? All right, good talk.
So basically, I will start here and let's see if I need some correction from Thomas here. But basically, the mission elapsed timer was off at the start of the flight, and basically Starliner at the wrong time burned into the wrong direction, right? So it basically used too much propellant to perform the wrong maneuver there. And after that, it had not enough margin to perform the rest of the mission. So it never reached the ISS.
Yeah, so the primary thing being that mission elapsed timer, and when Adrian says that it was off at the beginning, he doesn't mean like turned off. He meant the time it pulls at one point during the countdown. It pulls whatever the current time is from actually the Atlas V rocket, I believe. I think Atlas V rocket, its computers are powered on first because the launch vehicle obviously has to do stuff before the crew vehicle does. And so the rocket has already been powered on and it's keeping track of the time. And at some point, Starliner pulls a time from the Atlas V computers to start its own timer. And it pulled the wrong value. The Atlas V was doing fine, but Starliner was programmed to pick the wrong value. And so when that happened, all of the sequences that Starliner was supposed to be doing were happening at the wrong times. And the primary problem here was that it was not going to conduct the orbital insertion burn successfully. Coming back to Starliner actually is suborbital at spacecraft separation. It needs to do a small orbital insertion burn. And so eventually ground controllers were able to send enough commands to get it into orbit. But by that time, it was, an off nominal situation. So more propellant was used. It was in the wrong orbit for rendezvousing with the ISS. And thus they completed all of the other objectives that did not involve actually rendezvous and docking with the ISS. That was not sufficient enough to certify Starliner to fly a crewed flight test, so they have opted for Orbital Flight Test 2, which is what we're seeing launching today. That is not the only anomaly that happened on OFT-1, and we shouldn't really call it OFT-1, it should just be called OFT, but the first orbital flight test, if you will. There was also an issue during service module jettison where that was slightly off nominal, and they were talking about a risk of the service module and the crew module recontacting during descent. They've rectified that. And off the top of my head, those are the two big ones. There might have been some other small ones, but that's kind of expected on a test flight, right? Even on any kind of first flight, you will have a couple notes here and there's oh, this didn't work quite the way we expected to, or some small things to improve. But those were two kind of major things that were oh, we really need to fix this. This isn't something that you can fix for the crewed flight test. These are things that have to be fixed and then proven before you put humans on the spacecraft. Yeah, I think I summarized everything well enough.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for running us through all that. So you heard it. Everybody synchronize your clocks. Dude, make sure your time is correct right now, and that includes you, Atlas 5. Let's see. All right, I'm going to run through a couple more super chats so none of these get too old, because I definitely want to show appreciation. Cosmic Mustache, must be one heck of a mustache, says, go Titan, go Centaur. Whoops, right pad, wrong century. Thank you for the support there, buddy. Raziel, thank you for becoming a Pad Rat member. Zen Dragons, thanks for the support. Very generous of you. Thomas or Thomas? Thank you for the support. They say speculation time. Chance of 100% success today. I'm gonna say, what the chance of 100% success? I'm gonna say
define 100% success.
It's success at a maximum level. The maximum level of success.
So a small anomaly, something that is slightly off, is already 99.9% success?
Right, yeah. So if we're talking about will there be exactly 0 flaws on this flight, that's pretty improbable. And this is the only second flight of Starliner. It's going to be the first one that does a rendezvous and docking. I'm sure there will be improvements or tweaks to be made after this flight. However, if we define 100% mission success as completing all the test objectives, which includes rendezvous and docking with the International Space Station, after all of the work that the Boeing and NASA teams have done on Starliner and ULA's preparations for this launch as well, odds are that the issues have been resolved, especially since considering they did have a lot of flight data to leverage from the first flight test, even though they didn't rendezvous and dock. So all of those things considered, the expectation is that this should be almost more akin to a demonstration flight rather than a test flight, to prove that all its fixes have been implemented successfully and that this vehicle is ready for one more crewed flight test.
I joined the Thomas Optimism movement here.
Let's see. Overlord Raven. Oh yeah, they said we never answered the middle tower question, which we can't see in this shot. But does anyone know what that middle tower was?
Oh, so there are several towers actually in the view. On this particular view, there's I think it's technically called an umbilical mast. The tower immediately to the left of the rocket that says ULA down the side. that is a tower that carries all of the umbilicals for the rocket. So similar role to the transporter erector that SpaceX uses for Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy, except Atlas V rolls out vertically, so it doesn't move the rocket to vertical. It only carries the umbilicals, basically. But fueling lines, data connections, power connections, things like that all carry up that mast, and you can see them actually connected to the Atlas V rocket. And at liftoff, obviously, all of those will fall away. To the left of that, there is another tower called the Crew Access Tower, and that structure is only there to support the crew access arm, which of course would allow personnel to access the Starliner spacecraft when it is out at the pad. It is used for astronaut loading. Today it was obviously not used for astronaut loading, but it was used to late load some cargo after rollout because there is a little bit of cargo on board today's flight. Also just used for the ground teams, the blue team is what Boeing calls them, to practice some of the procedures that would be used for a crewed flight, even though there's no humans on board today's test flight. Other than that, at Slick 41, there are 4 lightning towers. There's the vertical integration facility that we talked about earlier. There are some other miscellaneous towers in the area, but those are the big ones.
Yeah, I think it was a view from where you and Julia are, and it was like another one of those kind of scaffolding-looking towers in between 2 of the lightning towers. So
yeah, not entirely sure which one that is, but it is. There are plenty of communications and lightning towers all around the area, so it could be a number of things.
Miscellaneous tower.
I thought that one Tetris piece shaped tower was just where Tori puts his cameras.
It might be. It honestly might be.
You know what? It is also that. And let's be real. That's the primary purpose. The fact that astronauts can climb it is like secondary.
It's like an extra bonus. It's like Tori needs a place to put his cameras for his favorite launch viewing spot, and I guess the astronauts can use it too.
Yeah. I imagine the second part of this reasoning being like the super boring part in Tori's meeting. It's like, oh my god, I couldn't put my camera in there. Yeah, and the astronauts, yeah. Also, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the blue team are present at the pad right now, right? They are basically rehearsing start operations as well here with the start, right?
Yeah, I know they were at the pad earlier. I don't remember where in the countdown they cleared the pad, so we'll maybe have to keep an eye on the social media channels and mission updates for that info. But they might still be out there. If not, they were out there not too long ago.
They just finished closing the hatch, and they are clearing the pad now.
All right, so there we go.
It almost looks like the shroud and stuff is sort of retracted away from Starliner a little bit there.
Yeah.
That may be part of their closing out, but it doesn't look like it's sealed up against the side of it like you would expect. We can sort of see into the white room up there.
Bill Smith, thank you for the support. They say, how much does Starliner cost per launch? How much more does Starliner cost per launch than Falcon 9? Falcon 9 is a rocket. Starliner is a crew capsule. I guess how much more than a Crew Dragon would be the question. I don't know.
There is a NASA Office of the Inspector General report with the numbers for Starliner, Soyuz, and Crew Dragon all compared. All I can remember is that Starliner is the most expensive of the 3, but I don't remember by how much. But if someone can look up that report, I know it's out there somewhere.
Cool. Yeah, maybe we'll get that in the back channel here or something. Jerwa, thanks for the generous support there. They say Jack Fan Club. Oh, and there's the tower we were talking about. In between the 2 rightmost lightning towers, there's a sort of a vertical, single, standalone tower. There's a similar one at Vandy, too, for the Atlas pad here. It's just like, it looks like a radio tower kind of thing, although I don't think it is. And I've definitely seen shots from cameras that have been put on it, but I'm not sure what other function would be.
I have the report, by the way. According to the 2019 NASA Office of Inspector General report, the cost per astronaut is $55 million on a SpaceX Crew Dragon, $86 million on a Soyuz, and $90 million on a Boeing CST-100 Starliner.
There we go. Thank you, Adrian.
No problem.
That is why you're awesome, Adrian.
I'm good at Googling.
I mean, hey, good job. PW or PN Pacific Northwest. I'm not sure how to say this name, but it's a name I've seen a bunch of times before. Thanks for becoming a Capcom member. PNW what? I'll go with that. Again, Capcom member and above, you get Discord access. So pop into our Discord and come enjoy the discourse. There, I said it. Jared, thank you for the support. They say sending positive vibes in the direction of Atlas V and Starliner for a safe launch. Also positive vibes to all hosts and camera ops on stream for stable internet and stable tracking. Well, thank you, Jared. That is very sweet of you.
That's nice.
It's a very sweet super chat.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, real quick on that other tower, I think we're getting compressed a little bit here because the building, the ULA building, is nowhere near the actual launch pad. And if, Michael, I
Yes.
don't know if we can show Steven's view really quickly, but I don't see
oh, hey,
that
look at that.
mysterious tower in this view. I think that one's in the foreground somewhere and it's sort of being compressed into that shot.
X-Files sounds intensify.
Yeah, it's not actually at 41. Now, you can see here, isn't that horizontal cable the escape system?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
You see
Yeah,
it
you
sort of
can
going
see it.
down and to the left from the
Yes,
crew
that is
access
exactly
tower.
what that is.
Yeah, that's like it's the bucket ride sort of thing where you like strap in and if you need to get away from the rocket really quickly, you hop on that cable and it's like a big zip line and you go down the zip line and you get away from the rocket.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
called
a
a
great angle to
slide
sort of.
basket, and it
Oh,
is the
thank you.
very similar. Yeah, I got you. I only know this because we were talking about it at the pad yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind. But yeah, very similar system at pad 41 as they have over at 39A for Crew Dragon pad escape if needed.
Nice. I
I
couldn't
would
remember the
love
name because
to-
Tori. Yeah, go ahead.
I would love to ride that zipline. Like I would totally do that.
That's what I was gonna say. I couldn't remember the name because Tori didn't let me write it yet. So Tori, if you want me to remember the name of that, you have my number. Just call me. I'll show up. We'll bring some cameras and ride the zip line because I don't know the real name.
The
You don't
the
have.
the life zip line. I'm trying to think of like a fun name for it. It's like the please I don't want to die zip line. That's a pretty good zip line.
Needs an acronym.
It could be a lifeline, if you will.
Oh my god, I regret everything.
Can we turn off
Um,
Thomas's mic?
Careful,
Colton's-
I also have one of the tracking cameras.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. We
Oh,
deployed
no.
the robot today.
You
can
just
go.
like
Oh, wait,
kicks,
no.
he just like, kicks the
No.
robot over in anger.
Yeah. I'll take the robot down too.
Rude.
Let's see. Kaltenstein, thank you for the support. They say, what does happen in case of an abort to orbit? Very Kerbal indeed. How do you deorbit the capsule after that?
Well,
Right. So the abort for an abort to orbit in that particular scenario does not use all of the propellant on board. You would still have propellant for the small RCS thrusters to do a deorbit burn. I don't know if they've ever talked specifics about different abort modes and whether, if it's just shy of. Well, all right, hold on. Now I got to think about it. Okay, so we should talk about the insertion orbit first because that's part of this conversation. Atlas 5, because of the thrust of the Centaur upper stage, it actually has two RL-10 engines, which Starliner is the only spacecraft that Atlas 5 is planned to launch that needs both engines for a little bit more thrust. The reason they do that is so that it can fly a flatter trajectory and enable the abort at any time scenario. If they flew too lofted, there would be parts of the trajectory where if you did an abort, the G-forces on the way down would be dangerous to the crew. So they fly a nice flat trajectory, and they also shut down the Centaur engines before it reaches a stable orbit. On that trajectory, both Starliner and Centaur would re-enter on the first orbit. That is a safe abort zone for Starliner. Starliner could splash down off the coast of Australia in an abort scenario and be recovered right away. Also, the Centaur upper stage deorbits or not even deorbits, just naturally falls down on that first orbit and destructively re-enters. So there's no space junk up there. So regarding an abort to orbit, if for some reason the ascent was off nominal, however, there was enough propellant on Starliner to still reach orbit and also have the reserves to conduct its mission and deorbit, I guess you could call that an abort to orbit. But if using its propellant to conduct the orbital insertion would mean not enough propellant to come back, it simply wouldn't do the orbital insertion. It would instead follow that natural abort trajectory and return to Earth on that first orbit. So I think hopefully that answers the question.
I'll take it. Thank you for that.
And just to give an update on the timeline here, what was confirmed now is that the hazard area surrounding the launch complex has been cleared of every ground personnel. So the blue team has departed the pad, and basically the rocket is now alone and by itself.
Excellent. And we're just under, 30 minutes?
28, yes.
Sweet. Really quick, Rough Riders show. What's up, Rough Riders? They say, forgive me if this has been asked already, been on a plane, but how many capsules does Boeing plan to have in the fleet?
Interesting.
I forget
know
the
that
answer to this
answer?
question. I know the answer is out there, but I forget what it is. I think it's at least 3. I don't remember if it's 4.
That's
I think
cool
it's only
because the
3.
thrust is also free. No.
Well, the thrust is the thrust. Okay, the thrust is 3 because there are 2 solid rocket boosters, and even though the RD-180 has 2 nozzles, it's still 1 engine. So yes, the thrust is 3.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
So we can launch. We can still launch today, everybody.
Plus 3. Good.
There are some new viewers to this channel that have no idea what the heck just happened, and I love that.
It took me a second actually because it's been a little while since I've heard the thrust is 3, and I actually was like, "What?" Adrian got me good.
I'm looking at Thomas, and I still have no clue what he's talking about. But I'll just add in thrust, read thrust. I don't know if it's even related, but hey.
It's from Starship streams. We at some point, because there was 3 engines, we said the thrust is 3. I don't know. You sit in the sun for 12 hours waiting for Starship to launch, and it doesn't, and you start to get a little wacky. But yeah, that's an oldie, an oldie but a goodie. Lori, thank you for the support. They say Florida Gators beers. All you need now is lions and tigers. Just had to reference the Wizard of Oz. Stay safe. Jack Parsons Laboratory says just some JPL love. All rockets good. IOPAN. Thank you for the support there. That's a really generous super chat, and extra appreciated to help us do things like ship that robot across the country or field a whole bunch of cameras and operators and commentators and pay for data on all these cameras and such things. And so thank you so much, Jack Parsons. Oh, my screen just went dark. Lovely. And it came back. Okay, we're good. Nobody panic. Samuel Haas, thank you for the support. They say, what does an engineer do, Thomas? That's a pretty nebulous question, but I mean, hey.
Oh yeah, I could totally answer it though. So, what does an
qualified now?
engineer do? I think I'm officially qualified to answer this question now, technically. So an engineer, and I can talk about aerospace specifically, an aerospace engineer does a lot of different things, but to summarize it, it is basically they're responsible for designing, building, testing, and flying a variety of flight vehicles. So if you want to generalize that to all engineering, design, build, test, and operate things. In aerospace specifically, that could be aircraft, it could be rockets, it could be spacecraft, it could be weapons, it could be a helicopter or a plane, any number of flight vehicles an aerospace engineer works on. It could also be the systems that support those vehicles. So ground tanks, ground systems, other ground infrastructure. It could be communication systems. You could be responsible for overseeing testing and conducting actual testing rather than actually doing the design work. Different engineers and different job titles will all have different parts in that process. But an engineer's job is to basically take a problem that they want to solve and design, build, test, and implement the solution to that problem. So yeah, that's what an engineer does.
If you thought you were trolling Thomas with that question, there you have it.
And even like I love that how even the stream is now showing a group of engineers working
there
today.
You go.
Like it's perfect, and everything about this question is perfect now.
I don't think they have enough monitors. I think Michael is disappointed in the number of monitors.
There's never
per
enough
person.
monitors. You always need more.
Yeah.
I think Michael and Daz together have more monitors than this room.
They with the crypto caused GPU prices to go up. Michael and Das collectively have caused monitor prices to go up. They've bought up so many. All right, really get into the weeds here. So Tim C, thank you for the support. They say, will there be a 20-minute vent? No, that is a Falcon 9 thing. You can see Atlas V is sort of continuously condensating or venting a little bit there, but there's no big T-minus 20-minute vent, right?
Yes, correct. And the reason for that is, like we mentioned earlier, the fueling timeline for an Atlas V is very different. An Atlas V rocket fuels hours before liftoff. In fact, RP-1 kerosene, the fuel for that first stage, was actually loaded yesterday before we even went to the pad because they store their kerosene at ambient temperature. It's not super chilled like a Falcon 9 kerosene load. So they can load it days in advance, and it doesn't really matter. It just sits in tanks. It's ambient. It's stable. It actually is very hard to accidentally ignite rocket grade kerosene, so it's perfectly safe to load that ahead of time. Also, the solid rocket boosters are of course fueled per se when they cast them, when they first make the boosters, so those were always already filled. Today they filled the liquid oxygen into both stages, both Centaur and the Atlas first stage, and they loaded the liquid hydrogen into the upper stage. Starliner's fueling systems, they're also fueled days and days ahead of time because it's a storable hypergolic propellant for the thrusters. So that was already done. But there's no late loading fueling for Atlas V like there is for Falcon 9. Also, there's no T-minus 20-minute vent because they do not have that same line configuration for the upper stage where you have to purge the lines between loading fuel and oxygen. So that is a Falcon 9 feature.
Look at that shot of the hatch.
Yeah.
What a beautiful hatch. That is an
That's cool.
absolutely gorgeous hatch. I know I'm nerding out a little bit hard on this, but look at that. Are those like tiles? Is that like a thermal protection tiling kind of thing going on there around it? And each one has its own little number and name. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's so cool looking.
I'm a bit nervous because there's no hand railing on the right side. Like that makes me nervous for some reason.
It looks like it's retracted. I mean, it's there. It's just retracted or something.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Go home, OSHA police, Adrian.
OSHA police, Adrian.
Okay.
The one guy on the stream who's not even American, but clearly he works for OSHA.
He's the OSHA police.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Well, that's what they wanted. Yeah, that's what they think. That's what they want you to believe, that I can't be it because I am a European.
He's like in disguise. A couple more super chats. Joseph, thank you for the support. They say go Starliner. Thanks for stream. You got it, buddy. Thanks for the support. We'll keep streaming as long as you keep supporting. NA, like not applicable, says, should there be a push for Dragon 2 Starliner rendezvous, like what happened during I said rendezvous, I hate myself. Like what happened during Apollo Soyuz. It's not really two different countries though, but I mean it would be cool to see a Crew Dragon and a Starliner like rendezvous and dock. That'd be awesome. Let's see.
Quick update on the weather.
Yep.
So now it was communicated that the upper level winds have been verified acceptable. Winds are green for today's launch opportunity. So good news on the winds.
Hooray. Yeah, you can even see a little bit of wind there on some of the tubing and like wiring and a couple of little tags in this shot. What a cool shot. Kaltenstein, thank you for the support. They say, can you do a tour of your robots at some point? I have no idea how to picture them in my head. That'd be cool. I don't know. We'll have to talk with the robot wrangler DOS to approve any sort of thing like that. But
yes, we'll see. We do get that a lot, and sometimes we don't show a lot about exactly how they work, but it's a common request, so we'll continue to look at it and see what we can do.
Yeah, have you like tweeted any kind of behind the scenes sort of stuff or anything?
Oh,
like
yeah.
People could go to your Twitter and check your Twitter out. Probably a good place to see that sort of thing.
I don't know. I tweet a lot of stuff. You'd have to dig forever to try and find it.
But hey, if they're looking for something, that's probably a good place to go. But either way, thank you for setting up the robot army, DOS. The completely autonomous like cameras that we can set up and they just sit in the field somewhere and run and a plane flies over it at the exact right time or whatever. Like it's just really it's really cool that we can do that. I constantly get comments from people just like, wait, what is that? And I'm like, oh, it's a remotely deployable autonomous field camera that people can control from thousands of miles away. It's how we do what we do. And they're like, whoa, that's crazy. It's like, yeah, DOS is really smart. So yeah, we do all that kind of stuff thanks to support from y'all. So Pat Fury, thank you. They say I'm behind you with the Bakery NASA Spaceflight t-shirt. You're behind me? I'm like, oh my god, that's kind of scary. But thanks for buying the t-shirt, I suppose.
Overlord... Yeah, we have a friend here near the press viewing site who's sporting the Bakery shirt. We greatly appreciate the support.
Okay, I'm slightly less nervous now.
Yeah, it's not behind you, Jack.
It's like, let's see. Overlord Raven, thank you for the support. They say, love you guys, have most of your shirts, and everyone thinks I am weird. Love it. Well, thank you for buying the merch. It's another way that people can support what we do. And we definitely appreciate it. Always wild to me, kind of mind-blowing to be out and about somewhere for some sort of rocket event and to see somebody wearing our merch. It's kind of surreal. Is Michael doing a fancy shot with a robot now because we were talking about the robot? I love it.
Yeah, there you go.
He's doing the opposite type of zoom that I want to see.
Yeah.
This is the slow artistic zoom. Like,
I love it. I'm into it. Katya, thanks for the support, and Chris Law, thank you for the support. They say, I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you. I love that movie. Good job.
Nice.
Good job getting that in the stream. G Forbes with a very, very generous super chat here. Thank you so much, G Forbes. They say, if this Starliner fails, which we don't want it to, we want this to go perfectly well, and we want there to be redundancy in our crew capability to orbit. But if this Starliner fails, who does NASA turn to? Where do they go?
NASA was asked this in a recent press conference regarding this mission, and basically the answer was that NASA has full confidence.
ACT is ready.
Flight is go. CST-100 is proceeding with final configuration for launch. All operators monitor LCCs and report any LCC violations to your operations leads.
Go ahead, this flight
SMD, Slick,
perform launch
launch
on
ops.
time verification.
Roger. SMD. CST-100 is ready for terminal count. The management poll for launch will be conducted on ULA Channel 3 at L-8 minutes. SMD copies.
So a brief bit of countdown audio there. I think we are coming up on some go no-go polls, so we'll listen into that, and I will stop talking if they go into a full-blown poll. But so to answer the question about what happens if this flight is still off nominal, NASA's answer was basically they have full confidence in their contractors, referring to Boeing, ULA, etc., that today's flight will be successful, which basically means we don't want to talk about it. If that's that's a bridge that we would cross if and when we come to it. I'm sure NASA and Boeing have their own plans for how they would handle a requirement for another reflight or something like that. But they're like, that basically an indication that that would be very, very bad, and there would be that's very undesirable, and so they're not going to discuss those plans unless they actually need to, which kind of makes sense. The hope is that today will go smoothly and that we won't have to worry about it. But in the event that anything happens, obviously we will find out exactly what those plans are and go from there.
But that is why, again, you have redundancy in your crew capability. You don't want to just have only Crew Dragon or only Starliner. You want to have multiple different ways in order to get to orbit in case there's an issue with one or the other, or one takes longer to certify, or any sort of thing pops up. That is why this entire commercial crew program was designed the way that it does. So it's working.
Yeah. And right now we're in the scenario where everybody's talking like, oh, it's so good that Crew Dragon is flying because it basically can help with capabilities to the station as long as Starliner is not ready. But we could easily, it would also be good to have a backup for Crew Dragon, because there could always be an issue where Crew Dragon cannot fly for a period of time, and then you would have to have a backup for that as well. So yeah, backup on both sides are good.
Let's do some more viewer questions. How about... I like viewer questions, as long as they're not about the 4 towers. I'm just kidding. I like that one too, sure. Vegas is asking, who will this launch be visible to? And we got a couple other people asking similarly, like, what's the trajectory? Is this going north, south? What are we expecting this thing to fly? And who's it going to be visible to?
Oh, well, it will fly, I think, northeast.
Yep.
Basically, the northeast-ish, and it also will, and that's might be interesting for me, it will also fly above Central Europe during the second stage burn. So they're still hoping me that there's a lightning storm approaching, but I will totally run out of my room at T plus 10 minutes to maybe catch it during flight.
Yeah, I hope you can get some eyes on it. That would be really, really, really cool.
I think we've actually got that chart up. ULA put out a chart. Oh, sorry about the logo there, ULA. Your image is a little bit too big. But they put out that chart of visibility, and you can see it like launch plus 30. Here, I'm going to get the logo in. You can actually see it launch plus 30, launch plus 60, launch plus 90, sort of like rings. And if you're inside of that ring, you can sort of look off in that direction. Of course, if you're along the coast, up the coast of Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina there, you'll be able to look out over the water and hopefully see this here when it launches. You go a little bit further inland and you get a little bit out of range. I actually can't tell where Charlotte, North Carolina is on this map. Like, I need the state borders or something to figure out where my house actually is. But anyways, there's where you should look in the general direction based on where you are.
Very cool. So that answers Borman's question about the trajectory. That's going to be a northeasterly one. Thank you for asking that question. Borman sounds like a Lord of the Rings or like Hobbit name. It would be Boromir. Thank you. That's what I'm thinking of. Just pull that out of my brain.
Thanks. Now I have to rewatch the movies because you mentioned them. That's nice of you.
Wasn't there somebody in our Discord saying that they don't like Lord of the Rings? I'm not going to put them on blast, but wasn't that a thing recently? We were having like a whole rager discussion about how they didn't like Lord of the Rings, and it was like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I think there was something like that. but I'm not sure who, but I will not put him on the spot.
Yeah, I thought you were about to say who it was, and I was like, no.
No. I wouldn't do that. I always want excuses to rewatch the movies. So now you gave me one, so I will rewatch the movies now because they were mentioned.
Excellent. Let's see. Gurney Eagle. I'm sorry about butchering your name, but they're asking, has Starliner and Boeing conducted an in-flight abort test? I mean, famously, we saw or didn't see, depending on your exact location, with your own two eyes.
All right. Sore
In-flight abort.
subject.
Yeah, I know, right?
Jack was there with me, so
I was.
We have. Let's see. I think we have 2 people in this call that did see it, and 2 or 3 that didn't. I don't remember where Steven was, but
yeah, that was
Y'all are
not.
talking about it. Looks great.
Oh my
yeah,
god!
I know,
shut up.
Das. I know you, Julia, got a great view of in-flight abort, but those of us at the press site did not, and we're still salty about it.
I'm never gonna not be salty about it.
Can I play the I'm on the other side of the planet and never see a rocket launch card here? Because
yeah, I mean, you can play it, but imagine if you had flown to Florida and made a whole thing and taken time off work,
Yeah.
and then it goes into a darn cloud literally like 5 seconds before it blows up.
Okay, yeah, I would be salty.
But so let's talk about Starliner. Did it do an in-flight abort test, or was that just something SpaceX did because they're trying to, inspire confidence in their vehicle, or how does that all work? They opted to do it, right?
Yeah. So they did. Right. SpaceX opted to do it. Boeing opted not to do it. There is a requirement, obviously, in commercial crew to demonstrate that they has in-flight abort capability. However, given the cost associated with in-flight abort tests, mainly you have to explode a rocket. The fact is that the requirement was not to actually conduct an in-flight abort test, but you could have verified it using computer simulations and component testing and test firings of the abort motors, all those things. You could verify your in-flight abort capability without actually doing a flown test. Both providers, I believe, were required to do pad abort tests. That was a requirement. So both providers did do that.
Crew arm's moving away. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that.
Oh, yep, nope, thank you. Crew access arm is retracting. That's good.
Nice.
But the in-flight abort test was a choice whether to basically do it in real life or verify it other ways with simulations and things like that. Boeing opted to do it with simulations. SpaceX said, no, we've got a flight-proven Falcon 9 that we don't care if it explodes, and we'll do the real thing. There was a couple different ways for the 2 providers to verify that requirement, and they both did, just in different ways.
Excellent. All steps in the right direction. You can really see it sort of swinging back away to, of course, get out of the way of the rocket. When the rocket takes off, you don't want the crew access arm to be washed with flames from the rocket going past. So
no, that would be bad.
That would be bad. Yes.
It always kind of bothers me that it goes like beyond 180 degree. Like it's like almost like the arm going the wrong way at this point. It's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I should probably stop thinking about the tower as a human arm. Something's wrong with me. Anyways. Oh man. Let's see. Valkyrie's asking, is Starliner reusable like Crew Dragon?
It can be reused up to 10 times. No. I mean, that figure is correct, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the GIF. The joke is the GIF joke is a joke, but the statement is real, right?
I think so. Yeah. No, I think so. Yeah. Sorry, we're working something in the back right now. Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah. You're good. Do your thing.
Yeah, but it can be reused. So to answer the question, yes, it can be reused.
Cool.
There will be a fleet that they can fly more often.
So Adrian here is asking, will this capsule be refurbished and used again for crewed missions, or is this one just going to be only a test article? Do we know what the future holds for this particular capsule?
It will be used again. I think that was the plan, but I don't know if we know if it will fly on CFT or Starliner 1. But I think it was confirmed that they will fly it again.
I believe this capsule will fly again on Starliner 2 because the capsule that flew the first orbital flight test is going to be reused for the crewed flight test, I think. A new Starliner that has not flown before will be on Starliner 1, and then this capsule will get reused for Starliner 2. In my head, I think that's what I'm remembering. It is possible I'm mistaken, but back to the previous question of I think there's going to be 3 in the fleet. So at some point a new one has to get introduced, but they are all being reused for future flights.
Got it.
Excellent. And real quick, y'all, we want to jump in really quickly. If you saw down in the description of the stream, you may have noticed that this is actually a sponsored stream. We've been working with Brilliant.org to bring some awesome interactive STEM learning to y'all. So as I continue, look at this. We've actually got, that is a shot of the bot you asked. And so we actually got a shot of the tracking bot that we've got out there today. You can see an antenna that's a little sideways there. But if you're interested in how this bot actually tracks things, Brilliant has a course that actually helps you understand some of the basics. So we are going to show that in just a second here. There it is. Yeah, Introduction to Neural Networks. This is one of the many awesome STEM interactive courses you can do. And there's part of it on the computer vision problem. It's how do you actually train a computer to see things, which is literally what that camera is going to do. Michael's trained it sort of what a rocket should look like, and he identifies the rocket, and then it tracks it as it goes. And it's really interesting. This is actually part of the interactives that you get with Brilliant. It's like, to start, here's a small region of a photograph we've blown up. Using nothing but what you think, what do you think this is? Is this like a book, a plant, a chair? These are the sorts of interactive lessons. It says these are just some random grayscale pixels. I don't know. I was going to try to read chat, but I don't know if we have enough time to read the chat here. I don't know, chat, if this is a book or a plant.
I'm going to go with plant.
You think plant, Jack?
I think plant.
Let's try plant. Not even close, it says.
What is it, grayscale pixels?
Yeah, look, here. If you add some color in, you get a little bit more information. And so this is a mushroom, a car, a smokestack, or 2 matches. Chat, what do y'all think it is? It's not a horse.
I'm going to go with 2 matches. Chat is, what is chat saying?
It says there does seem to be a cross of sorts. And it, again, explains all the stuff in the background. I like this because this is everybody's favorite aspect of cameras, the zoom. Like when you zoom in and out, you can actually see how when you try to enhance something, you get a little bit less resolution on it. So if you're interested in learning how computers can actually be programmed or trained to identify different things, this interactive course goes through a lot of that information for you. So if you want, check it out. Head on over to brilliant.org/NASASpaceflight. There's a link down in the description you can click. Let's get the link into chat as well. After the launch goes, maybe check it out. If you're interested in continuing to learn things, make sure you head on over. And again, massive thanks to Brilliant for helping us make the bots possible, the streams possible, all that sort of stuff. We really appreciate you. Back to the rocket.
Yeah, speaking of the rocket, they polled go for launch. So we are go for launch, just under 5 minutes. 5 minutes to go. Wasn't that like a thing on All That? Like 5 minutes, everybody? Every episode would open with that. Anyways, snippets of my brain that I don't know still existed. Let's see. So we are getting really close to launch, and rest assured we'll have some good launch audio for you, so we will stop flapping our gums. But until then, can answer some more questions here. Let's see. Are they is there any like dummies or spacesuits or anything on board the capsule itself that's being tested as well? Do we know about the payload of the capsule?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Go ahead.
I'm really not sure if there's something on the capsule. Like
we do know that there is some cargo on board. They're bringing some food and things to the crew of the ISS. I do not remember if they have the Rosie the Rocketeer, I believe was the name of the dummy on the first OFT. I don't remember if Rosie the Rocketeer is flying again or if there's another dummy on board. But there might be for extra data collection and things. But there is, I know for sure that there is some cargo on board, some extra provisions that aren't really essential or required, but just a little bit of extra like fresh food and things for the ISS crew.
And I'm getting informed in the back channel here, Rosie is on board.
So there we go. Rosie also taking a ride to space. A second ride to space, I should say.
Lucky. We have a question where I'm trying to look for it. The question was essentially which would you want to ride on? A Starliner or a Crew Dragon or a Soyuz? I'll tell you, I'll fly on anything that'll take me to space. I'm not going to be picky. You say I'm going to space, I'll say okay, and then I'll be like, wait, what am I launching on? Okay. just
New
send me to
Shepard.
space, please. That would be interesting. I mean, if you want to call that space, I guess it's technically space.
Wow. Okay. Do we really want to go
let's
there?
not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not go there. We're 2 minutes and 45 seconds away from launch of OFT-2.2 Electric Boogaloo, or whatever we were calling it. So let's focus in a little bit and not argue about if New Shepard goes to space or not.
Actually, on that note, we should say that us out in the field, I'm going to definitely pivot towards getting ready for tracking this liftoff. So
Cool.
we are gonna hand it off to the folks in the studio for commentary of liftoff, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
Yep.
All right. Have fun, Thomas.
Godspeed. Have a good
Thanks.
track. Enjoy the launch. I'm excited that you and Julie and Steven are all about to get a little chest rumble from these solid motors here.
Oh, actually, before I cut out for launch viewing as well, I just want to remind everybody who's joining us on the stream, listening to us and watching the launch locally, remember to set down your cameras for a little bit. We got people like Steven and sometimes me who take great pictures for y'all. Put down your camera, close your eyes, and enjoy the rumble, okay? Promise me.
I'll just brief tag along to that. If you have a nice camera, maybe feel free to take photos, but like there's really no need to shoot it with your cell phone. Just watch it with your eyes and enjoy it with your eyeballs. Says the guy who has shot launches with a cell phone. I am no holier than thou. But 1 minute and 30 seconds away from OFT-2 launching out of is it Cape Canaveral or is it KSC? It's Cape Canaveral, right?
Jack.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's Florida. I know it's Florida.
Isn't that little voice in your head of self-doubt? It's great. Let's see here. 1 minute to go.
Yep.
And of course, once again, once we get ignition and liftoff, we will be shutting our mouths and able to listen to the roar of those solid engines in the R180 on Atlas V, which I'm definitely looking forward to.
Real quick, Jack, I want to say how important this is. I know everybody's got their own favorite space companies and some are cool and et cetera, but having multiple ways for us to get human beings into space is always a good thing to have. So
exactly.
Whatever you think about your very favorite rocket that's the only rocket that exists, the more options we have when it comes to getting into space, the better off we are going to be as the human race, all of us. So.
Yep. 100% agree. More spacecraft, more better. And this is another spacecraft coming online. And it's a test flight, the very best of all flights, because we get to learn new things and start new capabilities. So here we go. 10 seconds to go for launch of OFT-2.
The RD-180 engines will ignite at T-minus 2 seconds. So now.
There we go.
We got something.
Ignition and liftoff. And it is cleared the tower and the towers. And let's listen to those engines roar.
Look at those solids go. These are all our cameras, by the way, y'all.
Yeah, I'm sitting here slack-jawed at that robot shot. That is
wow.
amazing.
Is that still tracking right now through that plume of smoke, looking up the tailpipe like that? That is
it certainly appears to. Yeah.
I am very impressed here. Like,
what a shot.
Yeah, this is the computer vision track shot right here. This is Michael's software that he wrote that has identified the rocket and is commanding the robot that I put together to track it downrange. Look at that.
Yeah. Congratulations, Michael.
I'm really glad I managed to get that sent out to you guys because we used it for the last Vandenberg launch, so it's a bi-coastal robot now.
Traveling bot.
Yeah, that's.
So we are about to see the SRB jettison, which will happen in about 8 seconds.
Keep your eyes on it. Yeah, and just a quick note: shipping that robot was not cheap, and we can do stuff like that because of all your support. Look at him go!
You can see the tumble. You can see the SRB. I'm almost positive that was the SRB. Is that the pixels are small, but that looked like that's what that was.
Yeah. And the main booster will burn for another 2 minutes now, until 4 minutes and 34 seconds, where they will also shut down and the Centaur upper stage will kick in.
Gosh, you gotta love a good rocket cam.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you got some use out of my tracking cam, because it sounded like the robot did pretty well.
Of course we did.
We switched it around. Yeah, I was switching between one to the other to the other. It was all fantastic having so many options.
No, it's okay. I know Michael's putting me out of a job. It's no big deal.
Thomas, welcome to being at a launch with a robot at your side. This is what I experience literally every time at Vandenberg. I'm like, so my main function here, to be clear, is to set the robot up, right? Okay, good. Just so we're all clear. No, but for real, we used your shot.
No, as long as it looked good, I mean, that's great. It was a beautiful launch.
It's still going.
You have to see it like that. We are so used to have good shots by you, so we don't mention that your shot is great.
Yeah, it's like to be expected, right? This was an experimental test of the robot. We didn't know how it was going to do with the plume. So yeah, no, that's the perfect, Adrian. Excellent.
Yeah, that was, I mean, one of the big reasons we wanted it out there was so that we could see how the tracking algorithms worked with the plume. And as the rocket gets that big SRB plume behind it and it sort of goes downrange, it doesn't really look like a rocket. It looks like a cloud or something like that. And so training the software to know as the rocket sort of leans over and pitches downrange was something that we wanted to have some experience with. And I got to say, it looked fantastic.
So we are getting close to BICO, which will happen in 15 seconds now. This is where the booster engine will cut off, and then the booster will separate from the Centaur upper stage, and then kicks in for the second stage burn.
Yep.
Excellent.
Lots of little ice flicks coming off of it there too. A lot of people ask what's going on, and you can see those little flicks of ice.
Oh, somebody's playing Kerbal in realism mode.
Right?
Oh.
And there we go. We have stage 1 shutdown and separation. And we're standing by. There is the nose cone separation, Starliner's protective nose cone also jettisoning, and then you have ignition of both RL-10 engines on the upper stage.
Look, they refocused the camera on the center part for the
right.
Stage
Yeah, of course.
It has a better center, like a better camera focus on parts than Kerbal, because I struggle with camera focus on Kerbal a lot.
I used to have a mod.
The engine plume on this mod, whatever they're using, isn't as great. I've seen some better engine plumes for Kerbal.
Yeah. That plume needs to be spreading out there, ULA.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Do you think they can install a mod to make it look better?
Now all I want to do is play Kerbal. Thanks, both of you.
Also, when I run it on my laptop.
Go ahead. Thomas has real information.
Right yeah, I'm trying to report on the launch, guys. No, the aeroskirt has also jettisoned. That's kind of think of it as kind of a fairing, but just helps limit some of the aerodynamic loads for the early stages of flight. But once they get the stage sep, you can not only drop off that nose cone that protected Starliner's docking port, but also the skirt around right under the Starliner vehicle can both be separated to shed the weight so that the upper stage and Starliner are lighter for the last part of ascent.
It's like the pants version of a fairing.
So Starliner wears a hat and pants, but nothing else. No shirt.
Oh, anyways.
I mean, this is cool because you don't often see the dual engine Centaur fly. It's usually just a single Centaur.
Starliner is the only spacecraft that has requested that extra thrust for its abort trajectories. So.
Yep.
So it's two separate engines, not like a single nozzle or a dual nozzle on a single chamber kind of thing.
Correct. It is two actual different engines. I believe on this when they do the dual engine Centaur, they are both RL-10As. I believe. The engine that you see on most single engine Centaurs is an RL-10C. So slightly different variants of the same engine.
And so there's more thrust, but also it's like kind of a redundancy thing, right?
Correct. Yes.
Also, they called out in the counternet that they have good timer, so that's an interesting call out.
Did they actually say that? They have a good
they
timer?
actually said good timer.
Yay!
That's probably worth checking before Starliner separates and starts doing things it's not supposed to.
You can see the perigee going up so fast now.
So Starliner is on its way to orbit, well on its way. People in chat are calling it. Someone said it looked like a microphone. Like, go space microphone, go.
It does sort of look like a microphone.
Well,
Just
now
don't-
I can't unsee that, so thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Just
thanks.
don't talk
thanks,
into the
Jack.
fiery part. That's the bad. That's not what you want to do.
Speaky package up.
So what is the next? What the next thing we expect in the launch timeline here?
Yeah, the next. Oh, good.
No, go ahead, Adrian. I think if you have the timeline in front of you, I don't remember how much longer we have. So
So the next thing that will happen is the Centaur first main engine cutoff at 11 minutes and 50 seconds. After that, I will just give you the 3 remaining timeline items, so you know. Starliner separation will be at 14 minutes and 50 seconds. And then they will basically they will wrap up the mission of the Atlas V at 37 minutes and 59 seconds. So yeah, it's Starliner will separate in about 6 minutes from now. A bit more. 6 minutes and 20 seconds.
it's funny that ULA calls that 37-minute milestone the end of mission. What they really mean is that is when Centaur disintegrates because it's re-entering Earth's atmosphere.
It's like, we're done. Hey,
It's
is
like,
that Boston?
so yes, you are done.
That's just like Massachusetts in the background, isn't it?
Yep,
Oh, hey,
there it
look at
is.
If you're in
Flying up the
Massachusetts,
north coast, east.
yeah, look
Yeah,
out over the
look
ocean.
east.
Look now.
Wait.
Go outside real quick.
Wave the space microphone.
Wave to the space. Adrian, it's getting ready to come up on you here in a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it would be earlier. I kind of looked wrong. It will be around 15 minutes when it will be at me. So it will be after separation. But if the weather is great, maybe some thruster firings.
That would be
Even-
cool.
Could be,
Even just light, like the light glinting off of it, would be really cool.
yeah.
And you'll
That-
actually have
that's the
2 objects to
closest-
look for. You'll have both Centaur and Starliner.
Yeah, I could maybe. So what could? Oh no, that's too late. Well, no, they will start the blowdown of the. They will start the blowdown of the. That's the Centaur blowdown, right? When they.
Oh, right, yeah.
But they start
Yeah.
that over like more to the east. They will not start that over Europe. So
Yeah,
Seven.
between spacecraft separation and the actual re-entry, Centaur does vent any kind of residual propellants that are on board, so that during re-entry, there's less potential energy on board. So that's what we're talking about when they talk about blowdown. That's venting your residuals.
Mustn't make joke about venting residuals.
What?
my God.
Let's see. Should I do some more questions while we wait for this
Yeah,
burn to wrap
please.
up?
I think we have a minute or two right here.
Yes, minute.
Excellent. So, quick question. Like, get a real quick one, Jack.
How long does it take for Starliner to rendezvous with the ISS?
Just
Uh,
under 24 hours. I think it's like 22 and a half hours after launch is when, and it depends on the mission. But for today's flight, it will rendezvous with the ISS tomorrow.
Perfect. How was that for a quick question?
Definitely a quick question, and Thomas with a quick answer as well.
I got you. I could also go way in depth if I needed a longer answer.
So I'm curious about something I'm seeing on the screen. Is it inclined up? It's flying a little bit of a nose up
Yeah.
trajectory intentionally, or is that just like an optical illusion the way we're looking at it here?
Nope, it definitely is. And this is common on many rocket stages, but especially on Centaur, which is such a low thrust stage, that it does need to give a little bit of positive angle of attack, a little bit angled up into the sky to fly along the right trajectory, which does mean a little bit of gravity loss. Technically, if they could point exactly prograde, that's more efficient. But it's hard to do that if you don't have a lot of thrust.
Yeah, literally
That's
what
kinda
you
when-
s- Go ahead.
That's like kind of when you're in Kerbal and you notice that your apogee is coming closer and closer, but you're not.
Right, yes,
forward yet.
exactly.
So you basically pitch up while we're like hoping that it's enough.
I have done that
It
way
is-
too many times.
it's a really efficient engine, but it's lower thrust, and so literally by sort of pointing up and flying nose up a little bit like that, it's buying itself time. It's using some of its thrust to counteract some of the gravity that's trying to pull it back down. It's literally buying itself some time, and that right there
Zico.
looked like the engine cutoff.
Yeah, there we go. So that well, they actually call it MECO because ULA is weird and refers to their upper stage as the main engines.
Thank
But
you. Yeah, thank you for that.
yeah, so shutdown of the upper stage. So Centaur now, you can see some thruster firings just to get everything in the right attitude for spacecraft separation, which is our next milestone.
Yep.
Very cool. So coming up next is SEP.
All right.
Yep. At
All
14
indications
minutes
of
and
a
50
nominal ascent so
seconds.
far.
That's what we like to hear.
Yep. Thanks, Thomas.
What were you saying, Adrian?
I was just saying that we have about 2 more minutes until separation.
Got it. Julia, how was that? How'd you like that launch?
You speechless. Oh no, I guess not.
No, I had my mic up. I had my mic up because we had our mic on the ground here. I love that launch, to be honest. That was it's been a while since I've heard silence like that, and I really enjoyed that.
It looked like a beauty, so I'm glad to hear that.
While we
It's a
await,
pretty good view too. We lost it, later in ascent as you notice it because there are some distant clouds. So, but always good to hear solids. Yeah, I agree.
While we wait, do we have a picture of Dad's favorite shot here already? Like, do we have a shot of that?
Show it, or is it going to separate while I'm on another screen?
Yeah,
we
well,
should have a
Oh,
shot.
right.
There we go.
Okay, back. We just flip it open, flip it closed. Of course, y'all, the joke there, sort of the inside reference is my favorite view on launch day is the empty launch pad. There's no rocket there anymore because we just got to see an awesome rocket launch. And again, no matter what your favorite rocket is, it's cool to see rockets launch, especially rockets that are designed to, rockets and spacecraft that are designed to take human beings into space.
Indeed. Holy cow. We have a huge $100 super chat from Parker Emery. Thank you so
Nice.
much, Parker. That's extremely generous of you, and it absolutely will go to support everything that we're doing, including more robot stuff. Because
we do have a special treat here about the robot. Like, as soon as Spacecraft Sep, we're going to talk about that. But we do have something to show you if you want to see some behind the scenes on how the tracking bot works. Stick around. I know you might be like, oh, well, the launch is over, bye. But we have some behind the scenes footage we'll show you here after we get spacecraft separation.
Indeed. And Parker says, top-notch views and tracking, test flight, best flight, even when not on the best coast, # Team Space. I think am I friends with Parker? I think I'm friends with Parker all of a sudden. They say, y'all need a Patreon so I can join without giving a 30% of the algorithm. We do have what is it, like a
link?
Yeah, like a direct link, so you can, if you have a bigger like donation or support that you want to do. What is that? I don't know the link off the top of my head. And Spacecraft Sep. Look at that. That looks so cool. I need this mod.
They need to focus on the Starliner, though. You can tell that this is
focusing on
ULA's
the wrong
animation. Yeah.
They said Centaur is the root part.
They said Centaur is the root part. Oh no, the probe core is on the Centaur.
Did they attach the probe core to the capsule?
Hit right
square
square
bracket.
Yeah, right square bracket.
Spam through the brackets real quick, and then it like switches to your fairings that are back in the atmosphere or whatever. Like the other
I love that.
And then you're too
and
far
then you
away,
can't
and
switch
you're like,
because it's
no!
under acceleration and it's the worst.
Oh my god! Nobody.
All right, no
anybody
more
who
Kerbal
doesn't-
jokes.
Yeah, anybody who doesn't play Kerbal is like, what is going on right now?
Yeah, exactly. And we're gonna wait for the call out. Did we get a call out on successful spacecraft separation, or just an animation there?
Either way, thank you, Parker, so much for the very super generous support.
So at this point, I will excuse myself and look out of my kitchen window. So
Go.
Be right
Go,
back.
go, 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 go.
Nice.
Let's talk more Rocket Looky.
Yeah, and it is okay. There we go. It is confirmed. There was the call out on successful spacecraft separation there. ULA actually ties their animations to real data. It's not like you would get something where it's like, okay, hey, look, it's separated, but then you see everybody there anxiously looking at the screens. I was staring them down, seeing for like waiting for people to clap or something like that. And it is confirmed successful spacecraft separation.
Crossed arms guy right there in the middle. I don't know. I wouldn't want to run afoul of him. He seems like a tough customer. I don't know. Everyone else seems pretty chill, but I'm like, okay. I see crossed arms guy. Is everything okay?
Nice.
I'm sure everything's fine.
So
Sidara.
Go ahead.
Sidara with a also very generous super chat. I wanted to point that one out, and they said Michael Fan Club. Thank you so much, Sidara.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Michael Fan Club, let me see here really quickly if I can't show you. I guess that's sort of a double thing. Let's just do it this way. You know something? The rocket's already on its way. We don't have a camera actually watching the rocket anymore. So let's do a little bit of an instant replay really quickly. And you get to actually see through the eyes
over the last couple of years
of the software. There's a replay in there. Let's get rid of that real quick. This is the actual replay here, and this is from Michael's tracking software. This is like what his screen showed as it identifies the rocket and tracks it downrange. Usually Michael would do a tweet or something like that, and he turned it around really quick here today so that we could see it. So without further ado, let's click play.
Yeah, and he did do a tweet, but also let's watch it.
There you go. And you can see identifying the big gradient there, the place where the engine light starts and the bottom of the rocket sort of blends together. The size of the blue box sort of shows. I don't know if confidence is really the right terminology. It's just sort of
is it like a search area?
It's like what it's focusing on. It's trying to keep that blue box in sort of the right position. You can actually see a roll there as well. That, you know something? I think that was like a respec where it rolled, and so he said, hey, the rocket looks a little different. He can correct me if that's not an exact explanation. And see, look at how we're trying to keep that exhaust plume out. The flames, the actual flames haven't actually changed that much. The rocket's sort of leaning over, but you still get the dark body of the rocket and the bright flames, and you just keep focusing on that. Don't get distracted by the way that the capsule is changing or the flames, the smoke coming out behind it from the SRBs. But I'm really curious what's going to happen here, because at some point the rocket is almost completely just a smoke trail.
Yeah, and it kept going. It makes sense that like when learning visual effects in like way back in college, they tell you when like if you're motion tracking something, you want a high contrast point, so something really bright next to something really dark. And gosh, isn't it nice of a rocket to provide that for us?
And look, you can see it got a little confused there, and then he respec'd it, right? It lost the bright flame and then the plume, and so he said, hey, now look for this. And now you have that sky on one side, and you have the non-sky on the other side. Yeah, let's stand by here. Okay, good deal. Anyways, back to this. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of a hiccup there. So, anyways.
Yeah, that's amazing tracking software from Michael. It's extremely satisfying that he posts those like inside looks at the interface and everything. It's just really cool. I'm glad this is a new thing now that we're doing and that he's doing. And I look forward to seeing where we can take this software and technology, because boy, do I have ideas.
Somebody on the ULA stream just dragged a window into the capture area. Like
I saw that. We saw that. Cool. So we have good orbit insertion for Starliner. Everything is hunky-dory. Crossed arms guy still has his arms crossed. Yeah, I'll run through a couple more super chats. How about Remy Turk? Thank you for the support. They say, any idea how many parts this ship has? Based on the lag, it's probably quite significant. I'm here for all the Kerbal jokes. Thank you, Remy. Simon, thanks for the support. Todd, thank you for the support.
The physics simulations in Kerbal are really accurate because the parts are actually the size of atoms. It's just that the part count's really high. You have to have a universe-sized computer to run the simulation.
And then you get the answer, and it's 42. Rogue Neurons, thank you for the support. Nikon's in Space says Jack Fan Club, thanks for the support. And the fan clubbery.
Hey there,
Rusty,
Jack.
What's up?
Hey, Jack. I just want to say something on behalf of Thomas and I, because we do have to pack up and leave while our live stream continues. So I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of both of us for joining us.
Indeed. Thanks everybody for watching and joining along in the fun. Okay, so
and you guys have fun on the rest of the stream.
Indeed. We shall. Let's see. Jeremy Hancock, thanks for the support. They say, never seen an Atlas launch before. What is the ground visibility of the upper stage burn compared to Falcon 9? I love NSF. That is a good question. Like, how easy is it to see the second stage of flight versus the second stage of flight for Falcon 9? Okay, so right now we're waiting on word for the orbital insertion burn. I misspoke earlier when I said we had a good one. We still are waiting to see
Hello.
what the deal is. Adrian, did you see it?
No.
Oh, darn it. Well, at least you tried.
Yeah, I mean, not even sure which exact time frame it will be here. Like, I wish there was a good website where you could see the exact position right now. So yeah, I'm back. Hello.
Cool. We're sitting here. We're waiting on word about the orbital insertion burn.
Oh yes. So that was like, let's just to mention it, because I think it's fair to mention it. That was the interesting, like the thing that did not go well the last time.
Yep.
So interesting point here.
Yeah, and we will just hold and wait and see what word we get here. Rain is asking what the middle tower was for. I
Launching.
don't think. Yeah, I don't think we know. It wasn't even at the pad after all. But that was an old question. Let's see. We've got some more recent ones.
Oh, I thought he meant the rocket. Sorry.
That's a common spin on the 4 towers question for sure.
Yeah. What's the 5th tower for? Launching payloads.
Launching into space. Lucas is asking if the first OFT capsule returned intact or if it was lost. No, it returned. Adrian, you said do you still have the timeline in front of you? Where are we at?
The problem is I have the ULA timeline. So, but I can quickly put up the Starliner timeline, because I bet there is one. And if I not have them, somebody will for sure send it to me in Discord and ping me. That would be very nice.
If I talk slowly enough, then maybe they will do it before I'm done talking.
With this sentence.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Jerwa, thank you for the support. David Dean, thank you for the support. Overlord Raven, thank you for the support. The 4 cables coming from the top of the tower. Are they for the support? I think so. I'm not sure. Rusty Shackelford, Pocket Sand.
Sha.
Yeah, Shasha. Thank you for that. They say by weight, how many? Oh my God, it's the gerbils thing again. I don't think we're doing that math right now, but maybe
I think we're good.
Yeah. Oh my God. It takes like a 4-hour stream for us to start getting into that sort of thing. Let's see. Mark, thank you for the support. Zuck, thank you for the support. They say appreciate what you guys do. Keep it up. NorCal, thank you for the support. They say glad to support NSF and all you do. Seriously, thank you. It's incredibly important to helping us do what we do. So liking, subscribing, hitting the watch button, hitting the notification button. Yeah, well, I guess technically that's the play button is the watch button, right? But no, there's multiple ways you can support us, even just watching us. You don't have to contribute monetarily. So, but those that do contribute monetarily, thank you, because you are sort of pulling the cart for everybody else and helping us share this stuff around the world. So seriously, thank you to everybody coming out and supporting what we do today. Kevin, thank you for the support. They say, granted, both have the same purpose, but between Dragon and Starliner and their launch systems, if this trial is successful, which do you see being favored and used more, regardless if Starship finally flies at some point? I could see them both getting, both Dragon and Starliner getting a fair amount of use. I don't know that I would really speculate about one getting more use than the other, or being favored necessarily, but they both seem like extremely capable systems, and I'm glad they both exist. That's for sure.
So about the orbital insertion burn, it according to a timeline that I got sent to, it should be in about 3 minutes.
3 minutes to go. Got it. Really quick, Ron Smith, thank you for the support. They say great job, ULA Atlas, for an amazing job, and good luck, Boeing. We're all counting on you. / Leslie Nielsen, and Captain of Outer Space says, here's to hitting the watch button. Thank you, Captain of Outer Space.
Thanks for clicking the watch button.
Yeah. So again, there's multiple ways to support what we do. One of the ways to support what we do and get something in return is to buy some merch. So we do have the merch store. If you feel so inclined, if you like what we do and you like our streams, check out this awesome new OFT-2 shirt that we have in the shop for this launch. So yep, that's it. It's right there. It's a shirt and a mug, and it's brand new. And if you're a fan of Starliner, if you're a fan of this launch, then run on over to our shop, and we've got the different styles and the mug and whatnot. So there you go. There's an OFT-2 shirt. Thank you to everybody who supports what we do. It's like there's multiple ways. You could do the membership program. You could do the you could buy some merch. You could just hit the like button. You could do the even there's like L2 lifetime. But anyways, there's all kinds of ways to support us. The merch store is a very good way to support us. And so thank you for buying the merch. Also, hey, look, there's Raptor Wrangler shirts. Gotta love that design.
Nice. Thanks, Jack.
But yeah, there's merch for all flavors. There's all flavors of merch for all flavors of people. So go check it out.
About 2 more minutes until the burn.
Excellent.
But yeah, so far it's looking good.
Fingers crossed. Just imagining several simultaneous, very rigorous and detailed discussions going on in this shot.
Yeah, that will be another point where we'll sprint to my kitchen window, because maybe with the it should be. I'm having a hard time to understand where it is at any given moment, but I think this might be a good time if I see maybe the burn from the window.
That'd be awesome.
Try it.
Because it will be about Turkey in 4 minutes, I think. No, it's long gone. Sorry, no, it's I missed that. That's long gone. It's gone.
You raised my hopes and then dashed them expertly.
Yes.
Okay, he didn't have a live stream camera, so I could take it or leave it. Sorry.
He doesn't have a live stream camera yet. Doesn't have a live stream camera yet.
The problem is I live basically in one of the dense populated areas in Europe.
Oh, good. You should have good signal.
Yeah, but also a lot of light pollution.
You miss 100% of the shots that you blame on light pollution.
1 minute to completion was just called out.
I love the optimism in that call out.
Oh, to ignition.
Looks like it's been on quite the roller coaster ride so far.
Good roller coaster or bad roller coaster?
Good roller coaster.
That's the only kind of roller coaster. Spoiler.
Read that other word. It's the in-plane Relmo?
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Relmo? Is that an L or an I? I can't tell.
I don't know. Chat, what do y'all think? Maybe it is an I, Jack. I think I see a missing pixel that could indicate that it's an I.
Is this one of those NASA launches that's in 720? Oh, perigee's rising. Look at it go. That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
This graph makes much more sense now that green line has moved.
Received word that the orbital insertion burn has started.
And that's Starliner itself inserting itself into orbit, right?
So basically, red is the planned trajectory, and Green is the actual?
TLM. Green is TLM. Maybe that's telemetry from the actual capsule, right?
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to wrap my head around this graph right now.
Yeah, I think
it's going
basically
backwards?
green is. Yeah, it's flying from right to left, it seems.
That's interesting. But yeah, that looked like a good burn. Look at it. It's the green line moved and follows the red line now, which looks good.
More used to seeing the maneuver node planner in Kerbal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, how much
Where's
delta
the
V
little
was
handles
that?
you drag?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, basically they will now burn at the peak of this roller coaster. I
Yep,
will
that
just
makes
refer to it. So basically they're now going up the roller coaster and then burn again.
So did they just raise their apogee, and then when they get to the top of this spike here, they'll raise their perigee? I'm trying to like visualize in my head what we're looking at.
it's kilometers versus units that are slightly cropped off and I can't read them. Jeez.
Yeah, I think it's also kilometers actually.
It's kilometers by kilometers?
Yeah, I also
It's
see
X
an
and Z?
M.
X kilometers and Z kilometers?
Maybe 2 different axes of kilometers.
I want somebody from the company to come and explain to us what the heck this graph is.
People in
How does
chat are
this work?
saying yes, they're going to circularize the orbit when they get to the top of the thing there.
Well, yeah, of course. That's how you would do your orbit.
do
But
that,
like,
right?
I'm trying to discern what this graph is trying to communicate to me.
Yeah, it's huh.
Oh, so maybe one is maybe one is alt and one is speed.
We've received confirmation that the Starliner has executed its orbital insertion burn.
All right, good.
Yay.
We have indication of a nominal orbit.
Yay.
It's good.
In-plane Relmo is in-plane relative motion, so it is Relmo.
Oh.
Awesome.
what-
So
what
Starliner's
is
on a
the-
good orbit. That's what we want. Sorry, what were you
What's
going
the
to say, Dust?
motion? No, I was just going to say, what's the motion relative to? I wonder if it's like relative motion to the ISS or something.
I think
like that.
yeah, I think it's the ISS. Yes.
That would make sense.
Oh look, it's that thing you like.
It's the thing I like. Nice. It's so difficult to see that there's not a rocket there, though. It's like there's still an awful lot of stuff around there. They hiding a rocket? I'm sad that there's not a Pelican on the.
I was just thinking
Pilings.
that. I was like, I'm bummed we didn't get any burb action.
I love Pelican Cam. Pelican.
Pelicam. Remember that when Fleet Cam had the Pelican? That
Yeah.
was great. And then we had
Yeah.
Grackle Cam on anyways.
It happens.
Birds.
I want to make sure everybody understands. Like, we don't have training from Boeing to know what that graph says. Like, I'm super curious what that graph is showing us, and they're like displaying it to us so that we can see it. But I'm really curious about like trying to read the units and try to figure out like, okay, I know sort of how orbits work, but what can I figure out about this graph? So it's not like we had like, oh, there was a 5-page media document on exactly what this one graph we're going to show is. From my perspective, it's interesting to look at something like that and sort of take what you know and try to figure out what it is you're seeing. It's almost like finding a new piece to the puzzle and figuring out where it's supposed to go. So I hope that people are like, oh my gosh, it's this, it's that, it's the other. It's like, well, I'm sitting here looking at the screen and I really want to sort of work out on my own what I'm looking at. So
Yeah. I don't know. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
It always helps if you understand it yourself. Like if you came to the right conclusion with looking at it, you are probably good at understanding and explaining it. So
Yeah.
that always helps.
If you
from
figured it out,
commentator to-
you kind of like came to you drew the conclusion of what it was and you looked at all the different things and you sort of paid attention to it and figured it out, you probably have a little bit better understanding, assuming that you figured it out correctly. So
That's very
I'm
true.
dead serious. Like if the person who designed that graph came on to the show, I would talk to them for like an hour about that graph and going to orbit and how it works and what it shows. And
Yeah,
you know,
I'd listen.
I would love to talk to that person and just like pick that apart because that's sort of what we do.
Yeah,
Is this an
our
official
specific brand of nerdery for sure. Yes, Adrian, I think it is an official invite.
Yeah, it's like
Nice.
an official invitation right here.
Graph guy, ULA graph guy, come on
Graph
down.
guy, nice.
Well, we are looking good here. Starliner is in orbit and everything is hunky-dory. They will do some checkouts on that vehicle. We said it was going to take them about a day to rendezvous with the ISS, but that is what is going on there. Always good to see a vehicle successfully launch into orbit. Really quick, we have a super chat from Moldy Space for Jack's Futurama jokes. Thank you for that. I will never not make Futurama jokes or Simpsons jokes or just reference various cartoons from the 90s because I'm me. Anyways,
Real quick, if we're gonna go around the horn and talk about people,
Yep.
I've actually got a tweet of the launch from Stephen Marr up. I think we might be able to show that. Yeah, there we go. We'll put a link to the tweet in chat. Of course, Stephen was out there not only running a live stream camera for us, but also took some photos of the launch. So I'll put this over into the chat so y'all can go and check it out and maybe toss Stephen a follow whenever he is out there shooting rockets. You'll usually get some cool tweets from him. Sorry, Jack, go ahead. I was ready to show that cool tweet.
All good. Yeah, I'm glad you showed that. I'm a little bit bummed once again we didn't get any Pelican action on the pilings there, but hey, that's just how she goes. But yeah, go check out Steven. He's going to be tweeting stuff like this, and whenever there's a cool launch from Florida, and Steven has a Patreon too, so go support Steven if you like Steven. I sure do. Cool. So y'all know me. I'm Jack. I do the videos. I edit videos. I commentate on live streams. I'm whatever you want to call me. Video editor, content manager, etc. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this. Let's go around the horn and say our goodbyes. Adrian, thank you for being on the stream for this launch.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed this one, and yeah, good luck Starliner on the rest of the flight.
Indeed. Chimera 96 in chat says Pelican Wrangler. Das, thanks for being on the stream as well. You were on helping us do our thing and spread the joy of spaceflight to others. So thanks for joining today.
For sure, it's always a good time, Jack. Thanks for hanging out with me.
No matter how many times I've done one of these streams, I always get nervous at the beginning, but when you're going to be on, I'm less nervous. So thanks for being here.
Good deal.
And of course, out in the field, we had Stephen Marr. Stephen, I don't know if he's going to be on comms, but we were just talking about him. So thanks, Stephen, for rolling out and setting up a live stream camera. Is it this camera?
Yeah, actually, yep, this is his camera.
Yeah, this is his. So thank you, Stephen, for doing that. We are using your camera right now, and thank you for doing it. And somehow managing to take a good photo. It's hard to do, let me tell you. When you're operating a live stream camera, it's kind of like a whole entire thing, and to get a good photo at the same time, it's no small feat. Also out in the field was
real quick, Jack. Thanks to Steve as well for doing some last minute tripod surgery. We had to shuffle tripod components so that we had a tripod that could hold the bot, and then a tripod for him to use. And it's like, well, take the head off this one and then screw it into this one. And he was like jumping through all sorts of hoops, opening Amazon boxes and doing tripod surgery. So thanks for that as well. Sorry to interrupt there.
No, not at all. I'm glad you bring that up. What we do takes a whole crew. It takes a lot of people all working their butts off. So it's always good to mention that sort of thing. Also out in the field, we had Julia. Although I don't think she's on comms now, but thank you, Julia, for joining us. We also had, and you can see Julia's info there. Everyone's info is popping up. We also had Thomas on the stream as well. Also, Thomas, I think they basically had to pack up and roll out, so that's why they're not on right now. But thank you to Thomas for sharing his wisdom and knowledge. And Michael, of course, in the background for that awesome auto track. Holy cow.
That was cool.
All right, well, I think that will do it for us on this stream. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for the support, however you chose to do so. That's my info right there if you want to check me out on Twitter or what have you. And yeah.
One more thing.
Oh, sure.
Thanks to chat moderators and the volunteers that help with these. That's very appreciated, and thanks for doing that for every stream.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a really good thing to mention. Thank you to all of our mods and everyone that helps out with NASASpaceflight in any way, because there's a lot of people. Again, it takes a lot of people to do what we do. So Thanks everybody for the support. Can't thank you enough. Thanks to all our new members and all our old members. With that, we'll see you nerds next time. Oh, I stole Das's catchphrase. Sorry, Das.
And you can't say that.
Well, goodbye. How about that? It doesn't have this. It doesn't have a good. Anyways, goodbye.
What?
Copyright strike will arrive tomorrow.
There was a bird! Go back to the bird! Yes!
Yes!
Just in time!
That was wow.
Oh
it was
my God.
perfect.
I'm throwing so many birds in chat right now.
Now, Jack, now you can actually say later birds. There's only one bird though.
So good.
Can we zoom in on the bird? We better stop the stream.
Yeah, let's just
Best
end it.
ending ever.
We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be nominal.
Our CPA pressure looks good. Throttling up. Roger roll with Planet.
Water towers can fly!
Tango Delta nominal.
Flight is now SC off. Bring in SC off.
Yikes. You bet. Concur. We don't need any more of these.